I got to say, this is the worst campaign I have ever seen in my life. It's extraordinarily, it's like there are no superlatives sufficient to describe how bad this campaign is. Let me give you a quick example. So the news breaks that Joe Biden has COVID, and whoever the intern is who runs his social media put up the following tweet. Okay, the tweet says, "I'm sick." That is his first tweet, "I'm sick." And then it is followed up with, "of Elon Musk and his rich buddies trying to buy this election." Okay, so the first tweet says, "I'm sick," and then the follow-up is that, which you'd think that's not going to go viral in precisely the wrong way. Like, what the hell is wrong with your social media team? It's crazy. I put up a mock-up of Joe Biden's tweet, and his first tweet says, "I have stage 3 dementia." And then the reply is, "funding to complete if you reelect me." Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Well, maybe that's one of the reasons why, again, Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer are privately telling Joe Biden he needs to leave, he needs to go get out. And here's the thing. Joe Biden, his team keeps saying he won't leave. So now Schumer and Jeffries and Pelosi, they're all leaking. They're leaking like a sieve. They're leaking to the press, saying over and over publicly, they're trying to publicly shame him out of the race. According to the Washington Post, Jeffries met with Biden on Thursday night at the White House. Schumer met with him on Saturday in Rehoboth Beach. In the meetings, the congressional leaders discussed their members' concerns that Biden could deprive them of majorities, giving Republicans a much easier path to push through legislation, according to 4 people briefed on the meetings who spoke on the condition of anonymity to describe the private talks. In a separate one-on-one conversation, a person close to Biden told the president directly he should end his candidacy, saying that was the only way to preserve his legacy and save the country from another Trump term. Biden responded he adamantly disagreed with that opinion. He's the best candidate to defeat Donald Trump. The person spoke on the condition of anonymity to describe a private conversation. So Schumer then released a statement saying, "We have discussions, but I'm not going to say what we were talking about," which is a confirmation of the story. Hakeem Jeffries did the same. He said, "Well, I conveyed the feelings of our members to President Biden." But it is not just Jeffries and Schumer. Pelosi has been a driving force in all of this. According to Politico, the developments underscore a new, more public phase of the Dump Biden movement. It's an astonishing turn of events that puts Biden's presidential bid on life support. With Democratic leaders like Pelosi, Schumer, and Jeffries against him, how can he possibly continue? There is, in effect, no mistaking what party leaders are thinking now. Schumer could have denied the exchange. He did not. Jeffries could have corrected it. He did not. And all week, as news about Pelosi working behind the scenes against Joe Biden trickled out, the former speaker could have taken to TV to firmly defend her longtime ally and friend. She did not. The flurry of leaks comes as Pelosi herself has coordinated with senior Democrats to try to push Biden out, cranking up the pressure on the president bit by bit in the hopes that he'll get the picture. Politico says, "We've covered Pelosi for a long time now and can tell you her fingerprints are all over the knife." Okay, man. Woo! The palace coup is upon us. Meanwhile, Pelosi's allies on the Hill, including California Democratic representatives Adam Schiff, Mike Levin, and Jared Huffman, have coordinated with other members, organizing letters advancing the conversation when needed. There's nothing subtle about Nancy, another Pelosi ally, told Playbook. Each time the Dump Biden movement seemed to stall, it was Pelosi who personally took pains to help revive it. We've covered Pelosi for years. We know how she operates. She and Schiff are wired in the same way. They're so close that other House Democrats call them the California Mafia. Why is that important? Because Adam Schiff put out a statement just yesterday calling on Biden to, quote unquote, pass the torch. He said, "Biden has been one of our most consequential presidents in our nation's history. He said, our nation is at a crossroads. A second Trump presidency will undermine the very foundation of our democracy. I have serious concerns about whether the president can defeat Donald Trump in November. He said, I believe it's time for him to pass the torch. And he said he would support whomever ended up being the Democratic nominee. Now, again, that doesn't happen without Nancy Pelosi's express written consent, like a gilded invitation from Nancy Pelosi to Schiff to go out there front and center and just say the thing. And so far, Biden, of course, has resisted this. So far, Biden has said that he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to leave. He thinks he's the best possibility against Donald Trump. But the poll data is the poll data. Jeffrey Katzenberg, who is one of Joe Biden's top fundraisers, apparently spoke with Biden in Las Vegas. And Katzenberg traveled specifically there to tell him to drop out. Senior campaign officials tell Deadline the meeting was routine on a number of matters as well as donors, and nothing out of the ordinary occurred. But you don't fly to Vegas to see the candidate you're giving tens of millions of dollars to unless you actually want something from him. Apparently, he told Joe Biden donor cash is drying up. Bernie Sanders is doing the same thing. Bernie did an interview with the New Yorker's Isaac Chotiner, and here is the exchange. Chotiner, when you yourself say you have concerns about whether Joe Biden would be able to finish a second term, I think it's hard to ask people to. And then Sanders said, I didn't say that. I did not. I didn't say that. And Chotiner said, well, you said I have concerns about everything. And he said, well, don't. Well, yeah, I am. I am concerned about the existential threat of climate change. Chotiner says, you're not concerned about whether Joe Biden can be president in 2028, 2029? You're not concerned about that? And Sanders said, I'm concerned about a lot of things. But yeah, Joe Biden will get elected. If Joe Biden gets elected, everybody's health is in question. And Chotiner said, I would just say you're not being able to say this clearly is a reason people might have doubts about whether he should be the nominee and feel the party should choose someone who people feel confident can finish their term. And Sanders said, you're doing exactly what I've been thoughting. If you want to make the case, Biden is not the perfect candidate for a dozen different reasons. Go ahead. And you're right. But tell me, you've got a better path forward? I don't think you do. So what Sanders is saying there is he is deeply afraid that Kamala Harris is going to do even worse. But we are now reaching a tipping point for Joe Biden. Multiple media outlets now reporting that Joe Biden is seriously considering dropping out of the race. He's been asking his aides whether they believe that Kamala Harris can win. Now, if they're honest, the answer is probably not. Her poll numbers kind of suck. I mean, she'll probably do better than Biden at this point, simply because the entire American public, outside of the immediate Biden family, one of whom is a crack addict and the other of whom is the actual president, his wife, they believe that he's, I guess, still okay. And every other human being believes that he's gone mentally, and he proves it every time he goes on the TVs. But, and Kamala Harris is, she's at least alive. She speaks words out of her, they're incompetent words, they're stupid words, they're circular words, but they are in fact words that come out of her face hole. So she'll probably do better than Biden. Whatever the case, Joe Biden is now clearly more open to leaving than he was, which, by the way, once that dam breaks, he's done. So here we are, July 18th, a couple weeks to the Democratic convention. And I'm going to say he's toast.
Are you tired of the lies and the twist of the mainstream media talking points? Yeah, me too. Join me in my newest series, Fact, where I dismantle and bring truth to this tiring mainstream agenda.